Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Homestead, Miami, Florida, the Homestead Miami Speedway for tonight's Activity Hub Valley Florida 200. The Activity Hub Valley NASCAR Open Truck Series. Got 200 miles of racing action in store for you tonight. 134 laps, 200 miles around this just shy of 1.5 mile oval, high banked oval. See some serious action here tonight. Welcome, everybody. I'm Steve Singer with Howler Boys Racing TV, bringing you all the action here tonight from Homestead, Miami, Florida. Let's bring you down to the track side here and see the last 5 minutes of the practice session. Top time so far, no surprise, Aiden Schultz, 32.52 seconds. Hard to say if there's any drafting help with that. These trucks punch such a big hole in the air that get some help on the straightaways. Increase that straightaway speed just ever so slightly, but every little bit does help. So far, 12 trucks have taken the time here in this practice session. Again, Aiden Schultz, top of the board. Jason Holdsworth is second quick. Adam Malone, Nigel Payton, Darren McKenzie, the top five. Andy Barber there in sixth. Sean Stamper, seventh. Gareth Anderson, eighth. Tom Pritchard, ninth. Dean Guilfoyle, the top 10. Point standings as they come into Homestead, Florida. Jason Holdsworth still your point leader, followed by Aiden Schultz. Aiden's about 15 points back. Kevin Smith, who I believe missed last week, is still in the top three, though 43 points in the rears. Fourth is Rhys Clayton. Tied for fourth is Tom Pritchard. They are equally 7 points back. Doesn't make any sense. 50 points back. Sorry, 7 points to the next position. Going to call that the top five, even though it's a tie for fourth. That's going to wrap up the practice session. First truck to hit the track is Michael Shore, that 07 Sim Racers merch machine. Weather here today in Homestead, Florida, comfortable 78 degrees, track temperature 84 degrees. I can't help but notice it doesn't sound like the 07 is all the way in the throttle here. Loose off too, though. He's certainly after it. Let's take a look at Aiden Schultz. Aiden has yet to complete his first green flag lap. Aiden sporting that forward number on the door, similar to the current next-gen Cup car we're going to see this year. Michael Shore did turn in a lap at 34.73. I think they were running 32s in practice. Nigel Payton goes to the top, a 33.05. Schultz across the line, first lap 32.54, quick time. Aiden Schultz currently on provisional pole. Gonna call it right there. Darren McKenzie gets his first lap in at 32.84. Puts him on the outside front row, a full 0.3 off of the pole speed though. Sure, if Darren's still got his foot in it, it sounds like it. 174 mile an hour into turn 3. Slides it up the track, gets it in the fence. That's going to do it for Darren McKenzie. So far, second quick for the 02. Andy Barber completes his first lap at 33.169, 7th fast on the board. Meanwhile, Jason Holdsworth does improve on his second lap, maybe? Let's take a look. Yeah, second lap for Jason Holdsworth at 32.72. Puts Jason on the outside front row, moves McKenzie back to third. Got 15 trucks here in Miami tonight. A little bit shorter field than we're used to seeing. Typical 25 to 30 trucks we can see at any given race with this Activity Hub Bali NASCAR Open Truck Series. Looks like everyone has put in a time that's going to do so. Aiden Schultz putting in a time of 32.54 seconds. Not quite as fast as practice. He ran a 32.52 in practice, so he's pretty darn close. I think he's going to get all he was going to get out of that lap. So far, definitely seems fast enough for the 52. As he sits on the pole right now, I don't believe anyone else is going to take a crack at him. About 20 seconds left in the session, so this will eventually go to the 52 of Aiden Schultz. Officially here in about 15 seconds. It's official. Aiden Schultz on the pole at number 52 machine, 32.542 seconds. Outside front row, Jason Holdsworth in the 1, just about 2/10 off of that time. Third quick, Darren McKenzie. Fourth, Adam Malone. Fifth, Nigel Payton. Sixth was Tom Pritchard. Seventh fast is the 3 of Sean Stamper. Eighth is going to be Andy Barber in that number 5 Southern Stars Esports machine. Starting 9th, Derek Jacobs. Starting 10th, Glenn Klein. Maxie Marshall will roll off in the 11th spot. 12th is Michael Shore. 13th, Ruben Phelps. 14th, Dean Guilfoyle. Last but not least, starting 15th is Gareth Anderson. Last 3 trucks on the grid did not make a qualifying attempt, so they're just going to start in the back. Eddie Rose blowing up my head here in the chat saying that I'm going to be the next Fox broadcaster. Yeah, I don't know about that, but one can dream. I'm a little too old for that, I think. You got to start out doing what I'm doing right now about 20 years ago, and maybe I'd have a shot, but we'll see. Field rolling off of the grid, forming up behind the iRacing pace car down the backstretch. Take a look at the sponsor on Jason Holdsworth. Can't get a clear look at it. Looks like a new paint on that number 1 machine. Try and get that figured out, but we're going green. Pace car hits the pit lane. The green flag is in the air, and Aiden Schultz in the gas. Good start for the 52. Crosses up into that high line. Entry into turn number 1. He's got control. Aiden Schultz, that is. Jason Holdsworth is second. Darren McKenzie third. Adam Malone fourth. Tom Pritchard fifth. Getting a message here in the chat from Kobe Jordan. Jason races with Nitro now. I'm only reading what information he sends, but thank you for that heads up for sure. Laps into the Activity Hub Valley Florida 200 here at Homestead. Aiden Schultz off to a pretty decent lead already. About 4/10 of a gap back to second place, Jason Holdsworth. Both trucks running different lines. The 52 up high, Jason down low. Aiden Schultz continues to lead lap 4 down the backstretch. Once again, Jason Holdsworth still holding on to that half-second gap. Closes in a little bit on entry to 3, loses it through the middle and off. Schultz picks up about a half-tenth on that sequence of corners. Holdsworth did gain a bit through 3 and 4. Correction, turns 1 and 2. Schultz really has a good drive off of that truck, really sending it down the straightaway. That's where he's getting his advantage. As we said, they're running 2 distinct different lines, and that has a lot to do with that seesaw back and forth interval between Schultz and Holdsworth. Get the 52 running the high side, which is the longer way around, which is probably why Holdsworth is catching him through the corners, because he's taking that lower line, which is shorter, but running the high side, Schultz does get that momentum carried off the corner and down the straightaways. Field just kind of getting settled in here at Homestead Miami Speedway, lap 8 of 134. Everyone minding their P's and Q's thus far. See the 06 of Ruben Phelps. 5 of Andy Barber. Back up front, Jason Holdsworth is starting to close in on leader Aiden Schultz. Gap down to just over 2.5 tenths. Aiden still working the high side, has the momentum down the straightaways with Jason Holdsworth working low. It's cut into that deficit. Holdsworth gains a lot of ground in through 3 and 4. It's a 1/10 and a half. We're talking the truck length at this point down the front stretch. It's going to pick up a bit of a toe off the 52. The draft coming into play here at least keeps him in the mix as far as that momentum or lack thereof. Running that low line, Holdsworth just doesn't have it. But if he can tuck in behind the tailgate of that 52, get a little bit of a draft, and kind of makes up for it. See him tucking in behind once again. Not a full truck width in, but still 3/10 back. Dives down low once again. You also got to wonder, with 3 sets of tires in the pits, 200 miles, are you going to conserve them properly by running that low line? A lot of guys think no. You kind of got to let the truck slide up the banking and then work your way off rather than holding it down on that white line that's going to chew up tires. Jason Holdsworth, though, he's won some races this year, performing well. Can't question his tactics, so we'll sit back and see how it plays out. Battle for the lead here, lap 13. Aiden Schultz up high, Jason Holdsworth down low. Jason has reeled in the 52, was side by side for a moment off turn number 2, takes a look again to the inside in 3 and 4. Can't quite make it work. Again, the low side doesn't have the momentum, but it certainly is shorter. Just have to decide which card you want to play. Jason Holdsworth once again side by side with the 52 off turn number 2. Schultz gets the run off the high side though every lap. That's where he's beating him. Running that high lane, certainly saving Aiden Schultz from being passed right now. Let's see if Holdsworth can make it work off 4. Side by side down the front stretch. So far, Holdsworth nose out in front. Can he clear the 52 off turn number 2? He's got him clear. Doesn't slide up in front of the 52 though. They continue to battle through this straightaway into turn 3. New leader here in the Florida 200. Give it to Jason Holdsworth. Lap 17 puts us roughly 50 laps from halfway. Jason Holdsworth took over the lead officially here, I think at lap 16. Again, fresh new paint on that number 1 truck. Formerly Sandbag Racing, now I believe it's Nitro. Aiden Schultz now, the gap back is just over 1 second to second place. Aiden Schultz, instead of giving up the lead at about lap 16 to Jason Holdsworth, and is continuing to drop back. Adam Malone in the number 4 truck, he runs in the 3rd spot. He is a full 3 seconds back from the leaders. Nigel Payton in that number 90, running in 4th. Just over 4 seconds back from Jason Holdsworth, and Darren McKenzie in the 02. Darren 6.5 seconds back, 5th place. Watching the battle with the 86 of Gareth Anderson and the 06 of Ruben Phelps. This is for the 9th spot. Ruben Phelps wants it. The inside truck, that Ford F-150. What a cool looking paint job on these trucks. Some of these guys are switching things up with the number locations, kind of moving them forward like the next Cup car. Won't say that I love it. I won't say that I hate it, but it definitely is different. On that 06 though, it looks pretty good. I got to give him that. Ruben Phelps still trying to pass Gareth Anderson for that 9th spot. Through the corner, he's got the position. Can he clear him down the straight or use the 6 as a pick? Tom Pritchard in the high side. Phelps tucks in front, clears for 9th. He's got the spot. Now to work on the 6 of Tom Pritchard. To his inside into turn number 3. Looks like this may be an easy pass for the 06. Doesn't quite have him clear. Slides up the track a little. Wants the spot. No. The 6 of Pritchard wasn't giving him an inch. Didn't have to. The 06 was just kind of sliding up into his lane, hoping he would give. But either way, the 06 takes the spot. Move Ruben Phelps to 8th. Meanwhile, the 86 of Gareth Anderson's getting by Tom Pritchard and going to work once again on the 06. Good battle here for 8th, 9th, and 10th. Sun setting here in Miami, Florida. Ooh, a little wiggle from the 86. Gets loose under the 06 of Ruben Phelps, I'm sorry. Wise enough to collect it, back off the throttle just a bit. Drives it in real deep. Takes it to the high side. The 86 may have gotten into the wall there. Gareth Anderson trying with all his might to put a move on Ruben Phelps. Nothing doing. Ends up losing some track position on that. Still maintains his position in front of Tom Pritchard in the 9th spot. Next in the crosshairs for Ruben Phelps, Darren McKenzie in the 02. This is for 7th spot. Ruben Phelps to the inside, off turn number 4. Some long run speed here for the 7th place truck of Ruben Phelps as he clears Darren McKenzie. Next truck on the checkbox, Dean Guilfoyle. Dean in the 420, looks like he's also running a nitro paint scheme as well. Very similar to Jason Holdsworth, if not exactly the same. Ruben Phelps catching Dean Guilfoyle. A little bit quicker one lap, a little bit slower the next. Put the gap at 0.6 of a second right now. Gareth Anderson again trying to get back by the 06 truck of Ruben Phelps. And at some of the logos on that 86, it appears that is also a Nitro Racing entry. Not sure if the 06 burned up his stuff a little bit making those passes, getting by the 86 and I think it was the 6 of Tom Pritchard. you see Gareth Anderson tracking down Ruben Phelps once again. Going to look to the inside turn 3 here. Not enough to make a move just yet, but drives it in deep, almost to the left rear of that 06. Ruben Phelps carries the momentum down the front straightaway. Anderson taking a peek, looking inside. You can see the flames coming out of the right side of the truck on deceleration. It appeared that Gareth is driving just a little bit deeper than Ruben Phelps into the corner. Again, good battle going on here for the 7th position. Jason Holdsworth still leads. Meanwhile, Aiden Schultz has slipped back to the 3rd spot. See Aiden Schultz in behind Adam Malone. Adam Malone up to 2nd. Adam Malone still almost 5 seconds back from leader Jason Holdsworth. Jason running away with this right now. It's not over till it's over. We've got just over 100 laps to go. So Derek Jacobs is making a pit stop. Not sure if this is scheduled. It doesn't look like there's any damage to the 99. Into his pit box goes the number 99 truck. Fuel going in. Truck on all 4 wheels, not changing tires. This may be a scheduled stop. It's going to go down a lap. So Derek Jacobs just exiting the pits. Leader Jason Holdsworth just crossing the start-finish line into turn number 1. Jacobs may get back under power here, enough to stay on the lead lap. Now we see Gareth Anderson hitting pit lane as well. Curious to see if he's going to change tires. He's been sliding that truck quite a bit, trying to pass Ruben Phelps for a few laps. Certainly got some heat into those Goodyears. Slow to his box. Again, fuel only, it appears, for Gareth Anderson. Back up front, Jason Holdsworth continues to lead. Dean Guilfoyle hitting the pit lane. Fuel only for the 420. Maxie Marshall coming to a stop. Glenn Klein. A little damage on the right rear of the 64. Aiden Schultz. Pole sitter, looks strong in practice. He's in the pit lane. Let's see if Aiden opts for right side tires. He's going to need about 12 or 13 seconds of fuel, so they have time to at least change 2, but maybe they save them, maybe they don't. Into his box clean, but a little deep. Has to back it up. Fuel only for Aiden Schultz. How long will Jason Holdsworth stay out? He had about a 5+ second advantage over second place. Adam Malone. Adam is just hitting the pit lane himself. It's going to leave Jason out all alone on his own little island. Now, what we don't want to see here, and I'm sure Jason would love it, is a yellow. This is going to catch a lot of these guys a lap down, but never mind. Here comes Jason Holdsworth into pit lane with Michael Shore. Leader on pit road. Ooh, cutting across the nose of the 9, gets away with it. Jason Holdsworth in the pit lane. Again, looks like fuel only for the one truck. The Nitro Racing Machine. 10 seconds, 11 seconds, 12 seconds, just over 13.1 seconds of fuel for Jason Holdsworth. Not a fast stop, but he had some wiggle room to work with. This is going to cycle back through, and I can see Jason Holdsworth may end up still having the lead at this cycle of green flag stops at lap 39 here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Following Holdsworth, you saw Adam Malone in the background just getting off turn number 2 at speed. Holdsworth lost some ground in the pits, but again, had plenty to work with. The gap back to second spot about 3 seconds after the stops. Ruben Phelps now trying to battle with the 5 truck of Andy Barber. Gets to his inside, passes him clean. I don't know if Andy is just saving tires for later on in this run, or if Ruben Phelps is just shot out of a cannon, but it seems like everybody's got fresh tires, or not so much fresh tires, but equal tires. I didn't think anybody changed any tires this run. There's a couple of stops, 15.3 seconds of Glenn Klein and Andy Barber at 15.3, where they had the time to do 4 tires and fuel, but again, with only 3 sets on the pit lane, they might have 2 that they're going to burn, and that 3rd set save for that last late caution that may come out. You never know, but it's always good to play that tire game. If the caution comes out with 15, 10 laps to go, something to that effect, and you've got a set of fresh Goodyears sitting down in pit lane, well, yeah, you run to pit lane and you take them and hope that nobody else thought like you did, because you're going to drive through the field. Other side of that coin, though, is that's the strategy you're going to play, and you're in a league like Full Throttle Sim Racing where they're very, very clean most of the time. You may not get that late caution, so you might be stuck just leaving that set of tires on the pit lane. Ruben Phelps is on a tear. He is up to the 3rd spot. Battling for the 6th or 7th position late in the run before green flag pit stops. He's gotten by Andy Barber, Nigel Payton, and Aiden Schultz just while we were talking, maybe a lap and a half. The 06 in another gear right now. Back up front, Jason Holdsworth still leads in that Toyota Tundra. Adam Malone 2nd, 3.3 seconds in the rears. Adam Malone's going to have company here in just a moment. It looks like Ruben Phelps is catching the 4. Did I say catching? Driving by on the outside like the 4's tied to a boat anchor. Ruben Phelps to 2nd spot with ease. Where did the speed come from out of this truck all of a sudden? They made green flag stops. Everybody pit for fuel. Again, it didn't appear that most guys were taking tires, but again, one of the pit times for Ruben Phelps was 15.3 seconds. Everybody was in that high 12, low 13 mark, but that was all fuel only. 15.3 seconds. Again, there's time to change all four and top off. That could be what we're seeing here out of the 06, this amazing run up to the second spot, 11 positions up from his starting spot. Tracking down Jason Holdsworth, the gap down to 2.4 seconds and coming down quickly. I got to imagine that Phelps has fresh rubber. That's the only real explanation. It's not to say he's not quick. He was certainly fast early in the run, making passes when he could, but this truck just seems on another zip code right now. So burned his set early. Get some kind of off sequence with the guys. He's banking on this going green. Gap now 1.7 seconds up to the lead. Jason Holdsworth has it. Ruben Phelps is going to want it. Jason Holdsworth, a 34.904 last lap. Phelps was almost a full second faster. I think that settles it. Faster because he's got fresh rubber on that truck. Won't be long. One more lap. I expect to see Phelps on the back tailgate of that Tundra. Once again, almost a full second quicker than our leader, Jason Holdsworth. Jason just needs to let the Phelps go right on by, knowing he's on quicker tires, newer tires. Don't chew up what you've got. Save what you have till the end. Don't battle a guy that's going to beat you in the end. Jason's been at this a while. He's a very experienced iRacer. I'm sure he's not going to put up much of a fight here. You see Phelps at the tailgate looking inside into turn number one. No defensive maneuvers from Holdsworth, and back to second spot goes the one truck to the lead. New leader today, the 06 of Ruben Phelps. Keep an eye on this. This is the strategy that the 06 has made, okay? I don't think anybody else took the opportunity to get tires just looking at where everyone's running and the lap times that they're at. Phelps is the only one running 33s. Everybody else is high 34s or worse. So I'll have to see how this works out in the end. Lap 51, 134. Halfway is going to be at lap 67. If this does roll green to the end, this could be a good strategy for the 06. Two more sets of tires in the pit lane. If he plays the same strategy at the end of this pit cycle, that'll put him, when did he pit last? Lap 37. So lap 74, roughly, he can pit again and get a set of tires. And that still leaves him with another set on pit lane to take later on, because I think he will need to make another stop for fuel to make it to the end. Do some quick math here. So working backwards here, that means he would pit, take his last set of tires around lap 111, which is more than enough tire to get you to the end at 134. So just looking at strategies going forward, I think Ruben Phelps is working pretty good, but you know what? He is shutting off that truck on the entry to the corners, it sounds like. Let's ride on board. Phelps may have switched over to fuel conservation mode. In the gas right now. Yep. He's pushing the clutch in on corner entry and coasting. Picking the throttle back up. Letting the clutch out mid-corner down the straightaway. Wide open. Didn't clutch it this time, but definitely out of the gas early, coasting in, rolling that momentum through turns 1 and 2. See if he does it in turn 3 again. Clutch all the way in, slowly guiding that truck through the middle of the corner, picks the throttle back up, lets the clutch out. Doing that all while putting more distance between himself and Jason Holdsworth. Ruben Phelps certainly trying to stretch the fuel Doesn't need to stretch the tires, but that's going to help him save tires as well. You're not pushing the car so hard. You're not fighting for position. You're out front. The only cars you're going to pass are lappers. Strategy come into play here. Lap 55. The Florida 200. Meanwhile, Darren McKenzie's in the pit lane. He has been for a little while. It appears he might have an issue. Looks like the left side of that truck is in the air. He's got some right rear damage. Some repairs being affected on the 02 Southern Stars Esports entry. That F-150 not looking as clean as it did at the drop of the green, but tough break for Darren McKenzie. Back out front, Ruben Phelps putting the 6 truck. Tom Pritchard a lap down. Remember, pre-pit stop, he was battling with the 6 for position. Now he's a lap ahead of him. Strategy certainly working in the favor of Ruben Phelps. See the 99 of Derek Jacobs has caught the leader, is working his way by. Derek Jacobs pit on lap 44. I can only assume he's got some fresh tires as well. Jacobs running in the 14th spot. Battle for the 4th spot, Aiden Schultz and Nigel Payton in the 90. Both trucks pit within a lap of each other. Aiden on lap 36, Payton a lap later. Trucks work off turn 2 down the backstretch. Nigel's there. Appears that Nigel is a little bit faster than the 52 right now, but again, is it strategy based? Is it the 52 just running his race, saving a little bit of fuel, not pushing as hard as you can? You saw the 90 tuck right into the tailgate of the 52 there. Nigel working now to the outside of Aiden Schultz. Is going to drive off the corner and take the position. Nigel Payton to the 4th spot. Aiden Schultz back to 5th. Ruben Phelps continues to lead. Andy Barber and Dean Guilfoyle. This is the battle for the 6th spot. Dean's right there, but not really close enough to tuck up and make a move in or out. Barber maintaining that 0.3 of a second advantage. You see Gareth Anderson in the pit lane once again. Not sure if this is a result of an incident. No, truck looks pretty clean. Scheduled stop for the 86. I remember he was one of the earlier guys to pit in the last cycle. Jason Holdsworth also hitting the pit lane. 2nd place truck. Looked pretty dominant early on, taking the lead from Aiden Schultz at about lap 16 and giving it up to Ruben Phelps. Ruben Phelps, though, on fresh tires. This is the chance for Holdsworth to get some fresh Goodyears on his machine, see what he can do with Ruben Phelps. Ruben Phelps, though, is going to be out there on older tires. This might be the run where he chooses not to take tires. Or maybe he's just going to go, as we talked about with strategy, go pit stop tire every chance he gets. I know as a racer, it feels a lot better to have fresh rubber underneath the truck, but strategy is going to come into play. We'll see how it works out in the end. Aiden Schultz coming to a stop. Right side's up on the 52. Fuel going in. Left side's as well. 4 tires and fuel for Aiden Schultz. Down and away. Much better stop this time for Aiden Schultz. 14.6 seconds in the pit lane. Jason Holdsworth also a 14.6. Looks like these guys are working on one more stop to make it to the end. Ruben Phelps, again, was saving some fuel during that run. He's got a great gap back to second spot. Dean Guilfoyle, 24 seconds. We're talking almost a lap right now. Caution would be huge for Ruben Phelps and Dean Guilfoyle at this moment, because everybody else besides them, they're down a lap for making their second green flag stop of the afternoon. Keep an eye on the 06, see if he hits the pit lane this time by. He might be trying to stretch it as long as he can. Later he goes, the newer his set of tires are at the end of the run. It's just how much track position are you willing to give up? Well, everyone else out there is on fresh tires, except for you. It's kind of the undercut that you see guys talk about quite often in Formula One. Phelps running the extreme low line through turns 1 and 2. So here we are, lap 67. This is right around where we expected to see Ruben Phelps pit, provided he was on the same schedule as he was previously in the first stop. Now, again, he was saving some fuel during this run, trying to extend that a lap or 2, even maybe 3 if he can get it. Lap 74, not 68. We were thinking lap 74 should be about his target for a pit stop. Might see Dean Guilfoyle at about lap 73. Again, it's all dependent on how much fuel these guys were able to save, or if they were in fuel save mode. We know for sure Phelps was. See, Jason Holdsworth is technically a lap down, but not by much. Phelps entering 3. Holdsworth tucking right in behind. Jason may get his lap back on his own. Again, Jason's running now new tires. We're going to see the same play out between these two as it did early on, except in reverse order. Ruben Phelps getting past. However, this is not for position. This is Jason Holdsworth getting his lap back the old-fashioned way, going around the 06, driving off. Putting a pretty good distance back to the 06 of Phelps as it is. This is where you got to start to wonder, do I pit now? Or do I run it a little further? Because each lap that goes by, you're losing track position because you got old tires and they don't. You see Dean Guilfoyle hitting the pit lane, teammate Jason Holdsworth. Dean gives up the second spot, or will shortly once Jason cycles back around. tires. Ruben Phelps off turn 4. Guilfoyle just leaving the pit lane, getting up to speed 1 and 2. Here comes the leader. Dean Guilfoyle going to go a lap down. Again, don't forget though, Phelps has to pit still, has yet to take tires. Lap 73, we talked about 74. Maybe keep an eye this time by or the next to see our leader, Ruben Phelps, hit pit lane. Just now putting a lap on Dean Guilfoyle. We've got Jason Holdsworth, who's technically in the second spot on the lead lap. Not all that far in front of our leader, Ruben Phelps. Again, want to stress that Phelps is the only truck on track that has yet to pit on this green flag cycle. I am curious, though. Let's listen if he's still saving fuel. Very light in the throttle. Staying on track this time. He's going to put lap 75 on the board. Moving into turn 3. And he's coming to pit lane, our leader on pit road. Gets it down to pit speed. There's some damage on that right side. Not sure where that occurred. Maybe it's an optical illusion from the paint. No, it's got some damage. That right side's dinged up pretty good. Right side's going in the air once again for Ruben Phelps. Sunoco Racing fuel going in. Left side's going in the air, so 4 tires and fuel for our leader, Ruben Phelps. He's going to exit the pit lane in the second spot. It's Jason Holdsworth inherits the lead. Jason Holdsworth headed down the backstretch into turn number 3. Adam Malone up to the second position. 10-second gap from Jason Holdsworth and Ruben Phelps. Fresh out of pit lane with some brand new Goodyear Eagles. I'm sure he's going to reel in the 4 here awfully quickly. Adam Malone looking very smooth on the steering wheel. Don't look now, here comes Ruben Phelps. Fresh tires looking to the high side. Move Ruben Phelps to the second spot. He can't clear him just yet. Now he does through turns 3 and 4. Ruben Phelps up to the second spot. 10 seconds behind our leader, Jason Holdsworth. Jason pit lap 62, Ruben lap 75. So some fresher tires at play here for the 06. To stays green, he's going to work the same strategy here. Take his final set of tires here late in a run. But he'll be able to push all the way to the end. Teammates battling, the 6 of Pritchard, the 5 of Barber. This is for the 5th spot. This is actually a battle between teammates. Looks like Tom Pritchard's actually a lap down to the field right now. So this is the 5 of Barber just working his way around. Looks like Pritchard's going to give it to him off turn number 2. This is a battle for the 4th spot. Nigel Payton and Aiden Schultz. Schultz is 4th, Payton is 5th. Again, we see the 90 tuck up into the tailgate of Aiden Schultz down the straightaway. Aiden is a little bit quicker mid-corner, it appears, but no, Nigel does tuck right in between the corners this time through 1 and 2. Takes a look to the inside off turn number 2. He's going to try and make a look to the inside. Nope, tucks into the tailgate once again of Aiden Schultz. Maybe this time looking low into turn 3. That 90 down low, 52 Schultz up high. 90's going to slide it back up in front of the 52 off the corner. Give it to Nigel Payton, move him to the 4th position. Back up front, Jason Holdsworth still leads. Ruben Phelps is in the 2nd spot. He's cut 4 seconds into the deficit of Holdsworth. He is catching the leader, but again, still some visible damage on the right side of that machine. Not sure if that's really slowing him down. Definitely cutting down on the side force on the right side of that truck. Can't really hang it out in the wind as well as you once could. Either way, though, fresher tires on the 06. Holdsworth again, pit lap 62, Phelps 75. Well, we have a few moments. Let's kind of go through the field here. Of course, Jason Holdsworth still our leader in that number 1 Nitro Racing truck. 2nd is Ruben Phelps, working some pit strategy to get him to that position. Setting himself up to have fresh tires compared to everybody else on the last 2 runs. If things stay green, that could also be the case on that final pit stop. Adam Malone running in the 3rd position. He's up 1 spot from where he started. Ran as high as 2nd this afternoon. Nigel Payton in the 90 truck. He's worked his way up to the 4th position around Aiden Schultz. Aiden Schultz in the number 52. Aiden, our pole sitter, led till about lap 15 and gave it up to Jason Holdsworth on lap 16. Has been fighting ever since to kind of stay into that top 5. Not sure if it's a strategy issue that's causing him some angst, but Aiden usually really quick in this series. Sixth position is Andy Barber in that number 5 Southern Stars Esports machine. Seventh is Gareth Anderson, also a Nitro Racing entry, at number 86. Looks like Napa colors. Taking a look now to the inside of Tom Pritchard, who's a lap down. Dean Guilfoyle runs in the 8th spot in that number 420, also a Nitro Racing entry. Tom Pritchard, 9th, Southern Stars. Tom is a lap down. 10th position, Sean Stamper in the number 3/number 9. They haven't quite fixed that just yet. Sean is out of Hiram, Georgia. One of a couple of Americans in the race here tonight. Mostly Aussies in this series, but a couple guys from the U.S. migrated their way over. Maxie Marshall in the number 7 Toyota Tundra. Michael Shore in the 07 Sim Racers Merch Chevy Silverado. Michael runs in the 12th position. 13th is Glenn Klein, the number 64. Running 14th is, well, was Derek Jacobs. I guess he's off the track. And Darren McKenzie's 15th, also in the pit lane. Back out front, though, Jason Holdsworth still has the lead. Deficit now at 3 seconds or less. Back to second place, Ruben Phelps. Ruben in the 06 has looked strong most of the day. Working some pretty crafty pit strategy to put him on fresher rubber than the field on just about every option he has. I believe he does have another set over the wall that he can take here for his final stop. Last run, the 06 managed to run 41 laps under green before making his second stop. I think it was lap 35 that he pit the first time. So lap 75. Expect to see him around 116 if that truly is the end of his pit window. That means another set of tires that go on that 06 truck with not a whole lot of laps left to go. Gives him the ability, like I said earlier, to push to the checkered flag. Potentially put the 06 in victory lane. We'll have to see how it plays out. Right now, Jason Holdsworth maintaining that lead at about 2 seconds. Keeping in mind that Phelps, being in that second spot, wanting to gain back some of that track position, may not have the luxury of saving fuel as he did on that second run. Deficit to the 6 of Ruben Phelps. The 06 of Ruben Phelps is pretty much maintained at about 2.1 seconds. Tires starting to equalize between our top two. Adam Malone. Adam's back about 11.9 seconds off of second place Ruben Phelps. See Gareth Anderson, though, hitting pit lane once again for his final stop of the afternoon. Gareth has tended to be the first truck in the pits every green flag run we've had. Right side's going up, fuel going in. A little hairy on his entry into the pits, into his box at least. Left side tires also changed on that number 86. He's down and away. 14.9 second stop for the 86 of Gareth Anderson. NitroRacing.com. There it is. I knew I'd get a camera angle that would let me see it clear. That is the sponsor on the one of Jason Holdsworth. #1 Toyota Tundra. Starting to stretch it out a little bit on Ruben Phelps. Now, Ruben Phelps actually hit the pit lane, going in a little bit sooner. Ruben Phelps taking that last stop right now, lap 99 at 134. I almost expected to see him go another 15 laps or so before making this stop. We'll see what he does here. Comes to a stop in his pit box, damage repaired. Fuel going in, no tires. So he's going to run it to the end on this set. Still saving a set, unless he really did burn them all up. I thought they had 3 sets over the wall. I only saw him change them twice, but hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to him later on and find out for sure. But always in the grass on pit exit, manages to keep the truck straight. Gonna lose some time there. These hot tires coming to a stop in the pit lane. They pick up debris. They get awful greasy trying to exit. You can see that truck sideways coming off the pit lane. Jason Holdsworth also in his box. He's actually changing tires. Right side's going on. Sunoco Racing Fuel going in. Left side jack in the air as well. 4 tires in fuel for leader Jason Holdsworth. Final stop of the day with 34 to go. See how this cycles out. Ruben Phelps may have gained some track position by going fuel only, but how much did he lose in that little off-track excursion? You see him, Holdsworth exits the pit lane just in front of the 06. And Holdsworth has fresh tires. This is going to be a tough mountain to climb for Ruben Phelps. Not sure if this was a choice or if he just didn't have any tires left. I thought he had only taken 2 sets, and we got a car around. Tom Pritchard has crashed, no yellow. Take a look at what happened with the 6. Looks like the 6 of Tom Pritchard just trying to get onto pit lane, trying to get all he can get. Oh, goes in a little hot, catches the water barrier, those big buckets in the end of the abutment of the pit lane. They're either full of sand or full of water, but either way, Tom Pritchard makes contact. Doesn't get up into the racing surface, so we stay under green, but back out front, Jason Holdsworth putting distance on Ruben Phelps. Gap to 3.5 seconds. Half a lap later, the gap 4.3 seconds, so you can really see Jason Holdsworth putting a pretty good gap on Ruben Phelps. Now it's 5 seconds. Fresh tires are so important here. Ruben Phelps did not take them. I can't imagine he had a set sitting there. The way these guys run, I just can't imagine not putting the set on. I know he wanted the track position, but at the time he was only 2 seconds back. Ruben Phelps 6 seconds back from leader Jason Holdsworth. Without a caution, 30 laps to go. Jason Holdsworth can pretty much set sail, drive this truck into the sunset, pick up a checkered flag. He's still got to run the next 30 laps, but I don't see anybody catching him because he's just putting distance on everybody else in that rear view mirror. Distance back to Ruben Phelps now just under 10 seconds. Jason Holdsworth walking away with this here today at Homestead Miami Speedway. We'll go through once again our lead lap cars. Jason Holdsworth, of course, out in front. Ruben Phelps is in the second position. Ford truck of Adam Malone runs third. Nigel Payton is fourth. Hayden Schultz, our pole sitter, he runs in the fifth position. Gareth Anderson, he's running in sixth. Had a pretty good run here this afternoon. Looked pretty fast early. He's been pitting a little early than everyone else, kind of short pitting, so to speak. Worked his way up to the sixth position. That's 9 spots higher from where he started. Andy Barber runs in seventh in that number 5. Dean Guilfoyle runs 8th. Another Nitro Racing entry, but Sean Stamper, Sean's hitting the pit lane here. One of the last trucks to hit his pit box, I believe. Final stop for the 9. Right side's in the air. Left side's going on as well. 4 tires in fuel. Sean Stamper, he's down and away. 26 laps to go in the Activity Hub Valley Florida 200. Jason Holdsworth looking very impressive thus far. It's been between Phelps and Holdsworth, but Phelps has now dropped back to the third position. Adam Malone, while we were checking pit stops here, made a pass on the 06 machine. Let's go back and take a look at it. Real time here. Ford just down low, overpowering the 06 down the straightaway, off turn 4 at the line. Second spot goes to Adam Malone. Again, it's just a factor of you got to assume the 4 pit for tires. Wheel of 06 did not bolt on a set. Drop Ruben Phelps back in the third position. That said, let's look at Ruben Phelps here. He's only got about a second advantage on Nigel Payton. Nigel's running in that 4th spot. I'm sure Nigel would love to be up into the top 3 and put this truck on a podium. Does have Hayden Schultz not too far behind him as well, so if he gets by the 06 of Ruben Phelps, at least put some distance between himself and Schultz. Payton's there. We're going to have a battle on our hands in a moment. 23 laps to go. The 9 of Stamper, fresh tires out in front of these two. Certainly quicker, not going to play a factor in the battle. Nigel gets in tight to that tailgate, loosens up the 06 just a bit, sends him up the track. Nigel down low, down the straightaway. Give the 3rd spot to Nigel Payton. Once again, up front, Jason Holdsworth now 14.2 seconds up front in front of Adam Malone. The gap is slowly widening. Ruben Phelps has dropped all the way back now to the 5th position. Lost that spot for 3rd to Nigel Payton. Hayden Schultz quickly got by as well. Let's take a look there. Hayden Schultz just diving it down low. Quicker than the 06. The 06 again on old rubber. Just can't run the pace that he was at earlier. 20 laps to go, and I'm not sure if Andy Barber can catch and pass Ruben Phelps, but it's 4.5 seconds back to the 5 truck. Trying to see what kind of laps they're running comparatively. Barber's about a full second a lap quicker, at least that last time by, so I would expect Barber to catch and possibly pass Ruben Phelps here before this race is over with. 19 to go. Looking out that back window once again on the 06 of Ruben Phelps. You see in the distance the 5 of Andy Barber getting larger and larger in that rear view mirror. Barber's cut that deficit down to 2.5 seconds at the start finish line. We'll watch it again and see where it is next time by. The line this time by a 1.5 second deficit back to Barber. He's gaining still about a second every lap, more like 9/10, but who cares? It's 16 laps to go. He's definitely going to catch him. Speaking of guys getting caught, though, look up front. Jason Holdsworth, still a healthy advantage. Oh, I looked at it wrong, unfortunately. Nope, still 16.2 seconds back to second place, Adam Malone. Looked at the wrong live timing data. Thought it said 9 seconds, but good news for Jason Holdsworth, though, still running away with this. He leads with 15 laps to go. Again, on board with Ruben Phelps, the rear bumper camera. We look at Andy Barber in the 6th position. He is there, only 0.3 of a second back. He's definitely caught Ruben Phelps. Andy Barber looking for a top 5, taking a peek down low. Much faster. Into turn 1, the 5 inside, the 06 up high. Barber gets clear. Easy pass by the 5 of Andy Barber as they work off turn number 2. Move Andy Barber to the 5th spot. Ruben Phelps now back to 6th. I guess is the question is Gareth Anderson's only about a second or so back from Ruben Phelps. Can Phelps even hang on to this 6th position? Unfortunately, the 06 just free falling here in the late stages of tonight's race. Florida 200 looked like he was going to have at least a top 3 finish, maybe even a win, but now he's dropped back to the 6th position. The 86 on his tail. Gareth Anderson there, close and closing. Anderson is there, looking into 3 and 4. The 06 down low, the 86 up high. Taking his time and catching and passing Ruben Phelps. Difference in tires, well, not so much tires. Anderson pit a few laps earlier than the 06, but I believe Anderson did take tires, where of course Phelps did not. Laps to go. The 86 looking up high. Anderson wants the spot. Phelps desperate to maintain whatever he can and salvage a decent finish here this afternoon. But the 86 now has crossed it over. He's down low into turn number 1. 86 and 06 battling briefly through turns 1 and 2. Give it to Gareth Anderson. Move Anderson to the 6th position. Ruben Phelps now back to the 7th spot. Commit lap times between Phelps and Guilfoyle. Guilfoyle runs 8th. Last truck on the lead lap. About 7/10 of a second quicker that last lap. We've got 10 laps to go. The deficit's 4 seconds. He's got time to catch him. Once again, Guilfoyle quicker, not by as much, but still faster by just over half a second. Still looking up front, Jason Holdsworth with 9 laps to go, enjoying a 18-second margin over second place. Adam Malone may have a battle here for the second spot here momentarily, though. The 4 of Adam Malone, just a second and a half up on Nigel Payton. Nigel runs that number 90 truck. Nigel just about 2/10 quicker than Malone. That last lap, lap 125, was slower, so it's kind of a back and forth between these two. 7 to go. 7 to go. That time by Malone was faster by just over a 10th. Phelps still running 7th, Dean Guilfoyle 8th. You see the distance back to the 420, just under 3 seconds. That has somewhat stabilized. Guilfoyle is still quicker though, gave up some time on lap 126. Not sure what happened there to Dean. Six looks a little loose off turn number 4 that time by. Guilfoyle quicker again by just over half a second. Deficit down to under 2 seconds with 5 laps to go. Holdsworth still out front, enjoying a very comfortable lead. Caution would change everything at this point. I know I scared a bunch of people just now when I said that. Been clean and green since the drop of the original green flag. No cautions to date, knock on wood. Ruben Phelps still trying to put quick laps down. Guilfoyle still quicker though. 4 to go. 1.3 seconds the advantage to the 06 to prevent being the last truck on the lead lap. Dean Guilfoyle wants the spot. Points matter. That time by a big jump by Guilfoyle, 3/4 of a second faster. 3 to go. Guilfoyle is there. 2 laps to go now. Ruben Phelps under pressure. Dean Guilfoyle right behind. Ruben defend here for just another lap and a half. I don't think so. To the inside goes Dean Guilfoyle. Gonna make a pass handily. Loose off turn number 2 though. Gathers it back up. Gonna try again into turn number 3. Dean Guilfoyle right on the tailgate of the 06. Gives him a little bit of a nudge. Moves the 06 up the track. Last lap. Jason Holdsworth into his last lap here. Turns 1 and 2. Jason Holdsworth for the final time down the backstretch here at Homestead Miami Speedway. He's led most of the day today. Worked the pit strategy. New colors on that number 1 Toyota Tundra. NitroRacing.com. Off turn number 4 for the final time. Looking at the checkered flag, Jason Holdsworth is your winner. The Activity Hub Bali Florida 200 is in the books. Give it to the 1 truck of Jason Holdsworth. Ruben Phelps manages to hold off Dean Guilfoyle for that 6th position. And looks like coming to the end here, looks like Gareth Anderson crashed. No, that was just post-race. Jason Holdsworth celebrating on the front stretch. Smoke show has begun. With that, we're going to go to a quick break and then have our top 3 interviews. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Homestead Miami Speedway. The Activity Hub Bali Florida 200 is in the books. Jason Holdsworth, your winner. Let's pull Jason into the booth here and have a quick conversation. Jason Holdsworth, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got a copy? Jason, are you with us? Jason, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, got you loud and clear.
All right, Jason. Congratulations once again. You've pulled the truck into victory lane. Looks like with a new race team and new colors on that machine. Toyota Tundra looked certainly strong out there tonight. A little bit of strategy involved between you, and it was, I think, the 06 of Ruben Phelps. You seemed to get the upper hand. Did you have an extra set of tires after the race, or did you just play it so you used that last set on that final stop?
No, I just used the last set on the final stop. I double stinted at the first stop. I didn't take tires, so I double stinted on the tires at the start. Just wanted to come home strong. I knew I had a very, very strong car here, thanks to the team at Nitro Racing, helping with the setup. Yeah, and I was just pretty happy. Like I was happy we went green that whole way because that obviously was going to suit me.
Well, it was a great run for certain. These guys with iRacing experience, they certainly know how to save tires, and especially in a league like you guys are running in, that's super, super important because you don't have a whole lot of opportunities to make changes. Yellow flags don't come out very often. Tell us about Nitro Racing, though. This is a new team for you. How did that develop?
New team. It's run by Russ. We actually have a setup shop as well, so you can actually buy these setups. Um, each week they're usually released on the Monday before the new week starts. Every week we've been competitive. So last week I actually won 19 official races at Dover. So yeah, so if you're looking for a setup for the official opens, definitely hit us up at nitro/racing.com.
19 official races last week.
Yes.
Incredible. All right. That sells it. If you're looking for a setup, check out the guys at nitroracing.com for sure. Before we let you go here, Jason, again, congratulations on the victory. But is there anybody else aside from Nitro that you want to thank that helps you get things done here this season?
Definitely want to thank Russ massively. I know he's part of Nitro, but he helped me a lot with the line here a couple of weeks ago. Finding the grip, we found a lot of grip down the bottom. You probably saw that I never left the bottom lane. And he actually helped coach me a fair bit, and like he has for the last few weeks. And I've actually seen a 1,000-point increase in my I rating. So massive thanks to Russ. Dean, as always, in my ear, going through strategy throughout the race. Obviously, want to thank Activity Hub Bali and Inside Lane Productions, Kobe and Shori, and obviously yourself, the broadcasters, brilliant. Look forward to watching it back.
Well, Jason, I appreciate that. Again, congratulations on the victory. Jason Holdsworth, your winner here in the Activity Hub Bali Florida 200. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
That was our winner, Jason Holdsworth. Let's go on to second place, Adam Malone. Adam, it's Steve in the HBR TV broadcast booth. You got a copy? Oh, hang on, Adam. I got to crank your volume because you're barely audible. Let's try that again. You got a copy there, Adam?
Yeah, sure do, mate. You hear me now?
Loud and clear. Congratulations on the second spot. You had that truck up there a couple of times throughout the race. Looks like pit strategy kind of bit some guys and helps you move your way up through the field. Tire conservation on your part, I'm sure, helps you make it to the end. Tell us what your strategy was.
Yeah, just that first stint, we just thought we'd just take tires, fuel on that one, and just take the tires on the last two stops, which helped out a lot. Yeah.
So did you leave a set of tires on the pit lane, or did you use only ones you had? Because it looked like you had 3 sets.
Yeah, 3 sets, 2 over the wall.
Okay, so 3 sets, 1 on the car, 1 on the truck, 2 sets over the wall. Well, that explains a lot because we saw the 06
that's
of Phelps. The 06 of Phelps did not take tires on that final stop because we thought he had an extra set. Didn't know why he didn't take it, but that certainly explains it. Tell us about your run here this afternoon. I know you double stinted that first set, so you saved the tires for the last 2 stops. So that's one thing. But was fuel playing any strategy into this as well? We saw some guys out there saving fuel this afternoon.
Yeah, I feel was a little bit of an issue. Like I came in with about 2-3 laps of fuel, on every stop. So yeah, you kind of had to save your fuel, but sort of race at the same time.
It's the way it goes sometimes. The most difficult thing for a race driver to do is to slow down. But if he doesn't, sometimes you don't make it to the end. So nice work on that. Adam, again, before we let you out of here, is there anybody that you need to thank that helps you get this done during the season?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the Southern Star guys, Tiona Holiday Park and Sky Point.
All right, Adam. Well, again, congratulations. Second place run. One short, but go get him at the next one in a week.
Thanks, mate.
So Adam Malone, our second place finisher here tonight. Activity Hub Bali, Florida 200. Last but not least, we'll go to the 90 of Nigel Payton. Nigel, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got a copy?
Sure do, Steve. Thanks, mate, for having me.
Well, Nigel, congratulations. A top 3 finish for you in that number 90 machine. Tell us about your afternoon and the late stages of that final run. You definitely made some passes to get yourself up into that position. Tell us about your afternoon.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Had a good battle there with Aiden for a while, and then trying to catch Adam. Just quite couldn't get it done in the end. He was just too good. Well done to Jason, and was taking the win. So yeah, it was a pretty good afternoon.
Well, clean and green from the drop of the original flag. I mean, that seems to be a somewhat continuing course of events with some of these races that you guys put on here in the Activity Hub Bali Open Truck Series. Is that kind of how you plan your strategies for long green flag runs?
You certainly do. You try to. You hope it goes green. It's good racing when it goes green. Pretty much banked on running a double stint at the start, same as what Jace did, basically. All the top guys pretty much did the same. Ruben threw a bit of a curveball in there and did something different, but at the end, but yeah, so I had double stint and then just 2 sets of fresh tires to get me home, so it was pretty good.
Yeah, we saw Ruben Phelps take that first set of tires on that first stop, and now I read the information wrong. I thought you guys had 3 sets over the wall, but it was 3 sets total, 1 on the truck, 2 over the wall. So he definitely tried to do it backwards. It seemed to work through that second stage, but not in the end, unfortunately. I think he ended up coming home in the 6th spot after an issue. Somebody wrecked. He got a couple of positions back, but unfortunate for him, fortunate for you. A good run either way. Played the strategy the way that you needed to, so congratulations for the podium finish. Before we let you go, anybody you need to thank?
Yeah, just a team. The boys at Pinnacle Esports Racing, Greg, Justin, Raymond, and Matt, and Witcher Electrical, Sim Racing Edge for all their setups they supply us. So thanks very much. And Activity Hub Bali and the Full Throttle boys, Shory, Jason, for putting the races on. Thank you very much.
That's Nigel Payton, everyone, our third place finisher here in the Florida 200. We'll see you next week.
Will do.
Well, that's going to about wrap it up. We'll go through our finishing order here. Again, Jason Holtzworth, your winner. Adam Malone, a strong second place finish. Nigel Payton, Pinnacle Esports, runs in the 3rd position. Aiden Schultz, our pole sitter, brings it home with a top 5 still in the 4th position. Andy Barber finishes 5th. Southern Stars Esports. Ruben Phelps, a hard-fought 6th place finish. Thought he was going to be in contention for a win here this afternoon, but not to be. Tried a different tire strategy, just did not work out in the end for Ruben Phelps. Dean Guilfoyle was 7th. Gareth Anderson was 8th. Sean Stamper was 9th. Michael Shore in the 07 Sim Racers merch. Chevy Silverado, he was 10th. Maxie Marshall was 11th. 12th was Glenn Klein. 13th, Tom Pritchard. 14th, Derek Jacobs. And rounding out the field, unfortunately, Darren McKenzie in that 02 truck. Not sure what happened, but finishes 89 laps down. Had some issue on track, whether it was a wreck or even a mechanical failure on that machine. But he finishes, unfortunately, last in tonight's event. So that's it in a nutshell. That is the Full Throttle Sim Racing Activity Hub Bali Florida 200 wrapping up here from Homestead, Miami, Florida. Thank you all for joining me. HBR TV, we're on Facebook and YouTube. We do have a Twitch account, but I just don't use it all that much. We can if we need to, but please like and follow those two at least. Facebook.com/HollerBoysRacingTV and HollerBoysRacingTV at YouTube. You'll get notifications and updates when we go live. It doesn't necessarily have to be your league. It could be anybody's league. We put on good races. I try to cover races that I find entertaining and enjoying, so that hopefully the viewers at home can do the same. So make sure you click those buttons. Like, share, follow, subscribe, all that. So again, I appreciate you. for tuning in. And before we let you slide here, we're going to mention one of our own sponsors here that provides some custom cameras here tonight. At least the in-car cameras for this truck series, Whiplash Media, providing that camera work for us this evening. Certainly appreciate all of their efforts because, frankly, I just don't have the time to do it myself. So they really put on a good service. If you need any kind of custom camera work for your broadcasts, find Whiplash Media on Facebook. Well, that's going to do it again from Homestead Miami Speedway. I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV. Be sure to tune us in next week, same time, same channels. Have a good night, everybody.